What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, according to reports, this fight, the highly anticipated undisputed welterweight showdown between undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 pound-for-pound fight in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford, 39 wins, no loss, no draw, 30 big wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, and this man, undefeated, unified, WBC, WBA, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not #1, definitely top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Errol the True Spence Jr., who has a record of 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age. So we got reports a few days ago, about 48 hours ago, okay, that that we was going to possibly get Terence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence, this highly anticipated showdown, June 17th, Las Vegas, Nevada, possibly at the T-Mobile Arena, and that it was going to be announced on the highly anticipated lightweight showdown, pay-per-view, April 22nd, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena showdown between undefeated three-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis as he takes on undefeated lightweight junior welterweight Mexican superstar title contender King Ryan Garcia. April 22nd. The announcement was being reported that it was going to be announced for this fight that date. Well, then Terence Crawford, he came out, and Terence Crawford, he said this. He said April Fools, and he put the laughing emojis, right? Then you had a close team member of Terence Crawford and Bernie the Boxer. He came out, he said not true. And then, it started to pick up steam as Dan Rafael, he came out and he stated that he's been told that, that's not true, that they are still in negotiations, okay? Now, we know Spectrum came out with their lineup, and they had Errol Spence, Terence Crawford in June. They didn't have a specific date, but they had Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford in June, okay? Now, the backup plan for Errol Spence is reported to be former unified WBA, WBC welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who is 30 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach, as the backup plan should Errol Spence and Terence Crawford not be able to come to an agreement, okay? But with that said, so I did my due diligence. Now, Terence Crawford, he has a mandatory challenger in Alexis Rocha, okay? Now, we know Alexis Rocha, he's with Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, and Bernard Hopkins. And Alexis Rocha was being seen and viewed as a possible opponent because he's the WBO mandatory challenger for Terence Bud Crawford, okay? And now that has been put to bed, okay? Because Alexis Rocha, okay, is now go ahead and saying that he's moving forward with his career. 22 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 14 wins by way of knockout, 25 years of age, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. He's a southpaw. He just won against George Ashley with a 7th-round knockout victory. That was January of this year. He was pushing for this fight with Terence Crawford. But now Alexis Rocha, he stated that he's just going to go ahead and move forward with his career, and he's going to have a fight now May 20th, okay? So now he's going to face off against somebody else May 20th because he says that, he needs to just go ahead and move on with his career because Terence Crawford is going in a different direction. Now, how would Alexis Rocha know that Terence Crawford is going in a different direction, and why would he make a drastic change and decision not knowing what Terence Crawford has going on next? So Alexis Rocha moves forward with his career. He will face Anthony Young May 27th on DAZN, okay? So why wouldn't he just wait and see how this negotiations unfold, seeing as though he's the World Boxing Organization #1 challenger, mandatory challenger for Terence Crawford's belt? Well, because Alexis Rocha knows that Terence Crawford is going to face Errol Spence in June, and he don't want to wait around and sit around idle, okay? And so with that said, now reached out to Spectrum, right? And Spectrum, they still have it. Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence in June, okay? And they still sticking by it, right? That their lineup is official and that they talk to both teams, okay, on both sides, and that that this is the fight that they have that they're going to showcase in June. That's going to be a part of their broadcasting. So Spectrum plans on showcasing Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. in June. Okay, so now with that said, Terence Crawford, he put out a post and he said April Fools. Okay, that's what Terence Crawford stated. He said April Fools, right? And so it was being looked at as it was a joke. It wasn't true. We had Michael Benson. He put it out that it was it was rumored to be announced April 22nd. So what I'm hearing is that it may or may not be announced. April 22nd on Gervonta Tank Davis's Ryan Garcia's card, and that there's a few things that has to be ironed out. But according to Spectrum and according to Alexis Rocha, they're going to have Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence in June. Okay, so I'm standing firm that I believe that this is just a deflection. Okay, because they don't want too many interruptions. They may still have some T's to cross and some I's to dot. And they don't want it to fall apart. Okay, so the fact that it was leaked out, they don't want this to be a big thing, and so they want to secure it, have it as private as possible, so that way they don't have any interference, any interruptions, and the fight falling apart, and this person heard this, then that person heard that, so that's what Spectrum doesn't want. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's teams and the powers that be, they don't want this interruption. They don't want this to fall apart suddenly. You start getting this person involved, that person involved. So if you look at Spectrum's lineup, okay, they have Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul, February 26th. Okay, that took place. AEW Revelation, March 5th. That took place. Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez, March 25th for $74.99. That took place. Okay. They had WWE WrestleMania 39, April 1st, $29. That took place. WrestleMania 39, April 2nd. Okay. That took place. Okay. Now they have then this is where they had it a little bit the date wrong, which was they had Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis, April 15th. That was the initial date that they was targeting, but that fell through due to the negotiations, and they had some drags, right? It was some holdups, so it got pushed back a week later. So from Spectrum had it April 15th. Now it's April 22nd. Okay, but they have the updated date. So if you look at Spectrum, they have Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, April 22nd, a week later. Okay, and then they have May 6th, Canelo Alvarez with a opponent to be determined, $79.99 pay-per-view. That opponent is John Ryder. We know that holds to be true. Okay, May 6th, Canelo Alvarez. Then they have AEW, another event, May 28th, $50. Okay, then they have in June, the date to be determined, the actual date, Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, $74.99. Okay, they have that date already. They don't have the exact date. So everybody else, they have the exact date. They have the month. They don't have the exact date. So now the date is being reported that it's going to be June 17th. But that can change, just like the Gervonta Tank Davis Ryan Garcia date changed. And then they have Forbidden Door, June 24th. WWE Money in the Bank, July 1st. So they have Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence at $74.99 in the month of June, right? So they don't have the exact date. And so I reached out to Spectrum, as you can do, and they stand by this. This is their lineup. They could even go a little bit further with, the dates. They don't have a dog in the race, whether it be boxing, whether it be wrestling, whether it be any other sport that they are going to showcase on their platform, this pay-per-view. They don't have a dog in the race. They could care less. They're not fans of the sport of boxing. They're not the promoters and managers. They don't have a dog in the race. So they stand by it. They're saying that that's what they're being told. The slot is still being held for June, the month of June, for Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Okay. and all the other dates held to be true, except a little adjustment they had to make to the Ryan Garcia-Gervonta Tank Davis fight. And the fact that Alexis Rocha and his team came out and said that Terence Crawford is going in a different direction and they're moving forward with their career and having a fight May 27th, that lets you know everything you need to know. Point blank and period. I think this was a deflection tactic when they came out to, tell you that these rumors and reports wasn't true, to get, so they don't have no hiccups and no bumps in the road and things just start falling apart again. So that's what I believe it to be. So hopefully Spectrum is right. They've been right all this time. And Alexis Rocha's team said they're moving forward. Terence Crawford going in a different direction. Let's see how it unfolds. But that's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. It's your boy Blue. I'm going.
This is Amanda, the Real Deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.